the road from the Marrow Hotel and watched a mangy dog scratch itself on the veranda. He imagined how it once might have been, men tipping their hats as they passed acquaintances in the shade of the curved veranda roof, sulkies and traps vying for space, horses drinking from troughs. He remembered going to the pub on his last day of high school. He must have been about almost 17. They'd had their final exam and weren't wearing school uniform. He'd allowed himself to be cajoled by Andy into having a celebratory drink. Inside it was cool and gloomy. The publican, Willie McFadden, said, "Good afternoon, gentlemen," and pulled them each a beer. Andy paid. Dom was anxious, but Andy was in his element, lighting a cigarette and leaning back in his chair, talking about all the places they could go now they were free of school. Sydney, Melbourne, maybe Darwin. Get on a boat from there, drive across Asia. He'd seen something about a trip like that on TV. Dom nodded, but he already knew his foreseeable future. He was going to the city, to university. That was enough for him then. A contained, manageable goal. Their glasses were still half full when they heard Willie McFadden talking loudly on the phone at the bar. "That's right, Bob. 2 underages if you're quick." The boys made a rapid escape, ran halfway down the main street and hid behind the bank, giggling with the excitement of a close call. But Dom spent the whole of the holiday before he went away to Perth, half expecting to see Bob Swan's police car bumping down the track to find him. The pub was still gloomy. Dom stood close to the heavy double doors for a few seconds, waiting for his eyes to adjust. The air was heavy with a yeasty smell, the floor dull and scratched. Fans clipped around on the high, yellowed ceiling, stirring a thin stream of cigarette smoke. ABC radio voices hummed. It was a strange, subterranean world. A middle-aged farmer in a scruffy checked shirt, stretched taut by his beer gut, perched on a stool at the bar. As Dom approached, the red-faced man behind the bar squashed out his cigarette and leaned across with his arm outstretched. "It's Dominic Connor, am I right?" They shook hands. Jamie McFadden, Willie's son, had been in Dom's year at school. He'd worked in the pub alongside his dad even before he was legally old enough. Dom could smell alcohol in the man's breath. He was jowly, with thin, receding hair. Dom wouldn't have recognised him. Jamie said he was sorry to hear about his mum. He called him Dommy and insisted he have a shot of whiskey and a beer chaser on the house. The other man's name was Charlie. Apparently he'd gone to school with Dom too. Dom pretended to remember him. Charlie added his sympathy and bought him another whiskey. Dom had only come in for a quiet beer. He hadn't felt like going straight back to the big house after being at the cemetery. He didn't even like whiskey much. Jamie took the shot measurer out of the whiskey bottle and splashed the golden liquid into Dom's glass until it was almost half full. "What the hell, eh? Not often we have foreign visitors," he winked. "Got to use it all up anyway. Last of the Marrow pub stock you drinking. Be part of history now, Dommy." He pulled more beers for all 3 of them and told Dom that his mum and dad had moved away last year, over east to the Gold Coast where his sister lived. "The missus is out there too. That's Deb's. Debbie Oldfield, remember? The best looker in our class." He winked again and made a clicking sound of appreciation from the side of his mouth. Dom winked back. It might have been the first time he'd ever winked at anybody. She'd been there a month or so with the kids. Got 3 of the little blighters. "I'll go over in a few weeks myself. Only stayed back because I thought we might have a buyer for this place, but it fell through. Knew it was too good to be true. Some big corporate chain. Hadn't quite realised where Marrow was. Now I'm meant to be finishing up. Just have to walk away. Gold bloody coast. Can't see myself there to tell the truth. But what can you do? Be a damn shame to lose this Jamie." The whiskey eased through Dom's gut, warm and comforting. "I just don't get it. It's wrong." He thumped his fist onto the sodden bar mat. Jamie put both hands flat on the bar and leaned towards Dom. "You could probably buy the place, couldn't you, Dommy? Buy up the whole bloody town if you wanted, I reckon. Got your big job over there in London, your nice house, must be rolling in it. No, Dom shook his head emphatically. It's not like that, whatever you heard, it's... Yeah, well... Jamie stepped back and picked up his beer. What would you do in a dead shithole like this anyway? You're better off out of it. Too bloody right, Charlie agreed. Bugger all left to save now. It's a disgrace. Fucking Polly's, places like this, they're the backbone of the country, but they're bending us till we break. He pulled both hands down fast, as if snapping a stick. Dom flinched. They want to get all of us into the cities, that's what it is. Round us up like bloody animals, to control us better. Dom looked at the red-faced man and nodded. Just now he was inclined to agree with this logic. I don't know, Jamie scratched at his protruding beer gut. Whatever the reason, it's happening and we've got to do what we've got to do. Every man for himself it is now. Dom tipped back his head and drained his beer. Jamie picked up the glass as soon as it touched the bar and refilled it. He chose coins and notes from the handful of money Dom dug from his pocket. You can pay if it makes you feel better, he shrugged. Dom stared into the frothy head of his beer. I suppose it's a blessing that Mum went when she did, he mused, if things are really that bad. You're not wrong there, Dom, my boy. Real tough on the oldies, all this change. Bet she hated being stuck in that hospital too. So far away. Hospital? Yeah, Charlie put in. Fucking hospitals, death traps. Never know what. To Marjorie, Jamie lifted his glass. The three men raised a toast to Dom's mum. Their glasses clinked together. Marjorie, Dom murmured.